Welcome to the Contagious Victories podcast. Each week, we talk inspiration, explore possibilities, and share insights from creative perspectives. I'm Tori Blackmon, and I'm here to remind you that your purpose in life is to celebrate the victories, because victories are contagious. Every new day is like a fresh piece of paper, and only you can decide what is written on it. So what will you be writing on your piece of paper today? Whatever it is you decide to write, I hope you put a note on that piece of paper to check out the Contagious Victories Facebook community so that you can keep up with all of the fun things happening on the podcast. Hello there, friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Contagious Victories podcast. My name is Victoria Glass, and this podcast is an emotional support podcast. So we're going to leave you feeling good, feeling confident, feeling beautiful, and ready to take on whatever creative project that you have going on in your life this week. This week is an exciting week because there are only 2 weeks left for the entire year of 2022. And right in the middle of those 2 weeks, there's Christmas, followed by New Year's. We've got 2 holidays. So, a lot of us are feeling a little bit stressed. Maybe we're feeling anxious about buying gifts, about wrapping up the new year, about wrapping gifts. We've just got a lot going on. We're about to transition into a new year, so there's new goals. We're trying to finish strong by wrapping up our old goals. And we really want to make these last 2 weeks count by being present, by acknowledging how far we've come over the last year and reflecting. So there's just a lot going on. It's an exciting time of year because we want to be involved with our families and see our friends and give gifts, and maybe financially it's a little bit stressful, or emotionally it's just a little bit more stressful because you're being pulled in all different directions and we're having to dress up. These are all really exciting things and fun things and things to look forward to and appreciate. And in the same breath, they're also, requiring a little bit more from us. With all of that said, I just wanted to pop on here, share with you a little bit about how I am, wrapping up the year, and also just be with you over here in the Contagious Victories community and on the podcast and in the group and things like that, because it can be a little bit of a tough time of year for many of us. And like I said earlier, it's an exciting time, but a lot more is demanded out of us. So I wanted to hop over here and encourage you, support you, remind you that you're not alone. And so I hope you're doing well. I hope you're just as excited about Christmas and New Year's as I am. And also, you just want to reflect a little bit. So that is what you can expect from today's episode, along with a few tips that I'm going to throw in to hopefully make these holiday seasons a little bit less crazy for you for this year and then also in years to come. So stick around. We've got a fun show for you today, and I'm really glad that you're here. Let's start off with a few victory stories. The holidays do get stressful, especially if you are a delivery driver for one of these big companies like FedEx or UPS or Amazon or even the Postal Service. Whether you work there or not, there's no convincing anyone that those people deserve gold badges for the month of December alone. They work so hard. And one of the victory stories that I want to talk about today actually has to do with my younger brother. So he has been working for FedEx ever since he graduated college earlier this year. Well, I just got a text today. It was a screenshot from a conversation between my little brother and my mom. And I guess someone had left out drinks and snacks and waters in a cooler on their front porch for the delivery drivers. And I just thought that was so sweet. My brother commented to my mom about how it really made the shift easier, and he really appreciated it, mainly because it was so unexpected. And then also because I guess he had seen a viral post where this has become a trend, but he'd never experienced it firsthand up until today. So I heard about that when my mom sent it to me in a text, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's so sweet. And it led me to do a quick Google search where I found the viral post of people leaving snacks and waters and coolers out for their delivery drivers. And I just think this is so sweet. It's not every day that you just get to do something really special for someone who is a stranger stranger that you'll probably never meet. Occasionally we do see repetitive delivery drivers or mail people and we get to know them on a personal level, but sometimes it's not like that. When I lived in an apartment complex, I never knew who my delivery driver was. It wasn't up until recently that I actually started to know and recognize the mail woman. So now that I've gotten to know her a little bit, I wave at her and ask how she's doing and say thank you on a regular basis, but it's not every day that we get to do that, nor is it the season of our lives where we get to, tell the people who make our lives easier thank you, like the delivery drivers. So I hope this Contagious Victory story inspires you to do something about that and say thank you to your mail people, even if it's not directly. If you don't see them every day when they come by, maybe you're at work or something, then you can leave a note and say, thank you, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Or you can even go a step further and leave a cooler out of snacks and water and, cookies or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be fancy. It's just a little gesture that goes a long way. And that's what victory stories are all about. Now, I told you that today's episode had more than one victory story, so here's the second one. It might also help you out with some Christmas shopping if you are like me and wait till the last minute to do all of your Christmas shopping and still need a few gifts to get. If that sounds like you, then you have to check out the book, How Zoe Made Friends. It was written by one of my author friends here on the Alabama Gulf Coast, Jared Stanton, and it is a really great children's book that will help your little one with bullying and low self-esteem. You can join the fight against this huge epidemic with the purchase of this children's book. And it's not just a book, but it's also a movement against bullying. This book is Jared's most impactful book to date. How Zoe Made Friends has been accepted by multiple schools, counselors, and parents as a wonderful book and teaching tool. So if you want to find out more about this book, How Zoe Made Friends by Jared Stanton, then you can check out howzoemadefriends.com. I've also shared it to the Contagious Victories Facebook community. So if you don't have a pen to write this down yet, you can always check it out there. In fact, one of the victory stories that I want to tell you about is that Jared not only wrote this book and shared it with many, many kids to help the fight against bullies, and he is sharing this with so many others, and he's getting the recognition he deserves. He's on billboards down here on the Gulf Coast. That is awesome, Jared. Congratulations. And I really, really, really recommend all of our listeners to go check out this book and buy it for the kids in their life. It's a great time of year to make a purchase. This is a local Gulf Coast author, and he's taken on big things to make a difference in the world, and you can help him with fighting bullying by just purchasing How Zoe Made Friends and reading it to all of your little ones. Thank you so much, Jared, for doing this and committing your life to creating really positive content that goes a long way. Man, 2 victory stories back to back. I am feeling super optimistic about this world and about humanity at large. Like, we are doing great things. Look at us. So many things to be thankful for, things to get excited about. I also have another tip for you. This isn't a victory story, but remember how earlier on in the episode we were talking about how stressed out Christmas can be? Sometimes it's because you just got to get all dressed up. Like, we don't get fancy that often around here. Sometimes we're looking cute and going the extra mile by curling our hair, but that is not an everyday thing on this side of the microphone. So I just want to be upfront about that. And I also know that I do enjoy dressing up. I love putting on the jewelry and getting my hair done and getting my nails done, but it's not something that happens every day. Like, I don't want to lie about that. Like, that is true. However, the holidays, we see people we haven't seen in a long time. We know, maybe our aunts or our grandmothers, or if you've got a Southern mama, like my mama, she wants to know why my roots aren't done and my nails aren't painted. So there's that. And sometimes there's just some extra pressure to get dressed up around the holidays. And I want to make it really easy for you to find the right outfit that is the appropriate, fanciness. Is that the right word? what do they call them at weddings? Like the dress code, the appropriate dress code for your family holiday Christmas. And that is why I love Rent the Runway. This is not a sponsored ad. This is me trying to make your life easier. I have been using Rent the Runway for the last year. I needed a couple extra little fancy outfits around the time when I was getting married, so I became a member of the Rent the Runway subscription. And it has been so awesome over this last year. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue it for the full year next year for 2023. I might just kind of revisit it for the seasons like Mardi Gras or, the holidays, or if I have a special event. But I'm so glad that I took a chance on Rent the Runway, and I want to share my excitement and how helpful it's been with you guys. So last year, we had wedding stuff that we were getting ready for. I am from the South, so we have Mardi Gras balls down here. I got invited to a Mardi Gras ball earlier this year, and I needed a fancy dress, but on a business owner's budget, one that also got married. So she really had very limited funds for fancy things. Not trying to talk in third person. I'm just telling you a story. So earlier this year, that was me, and I needed a fancy dress fast. So I took a chance on Rent the Runway, and I ended up with a beautiful Mardi Gras approved ball gown that I rented for $30. I didn't have to dry clean it. I didn't have to store it in my closet afterwards so that it took up like half of my closet space. I just wore the beautiful dress and then sent it right back. It was awesome. So if you need an outfit for this holiday season, and maybe it's on the dressier side because your family likes to get dressed up for the holidays, check out Rent the Runway. I am going to link in the show notes a blog post that tells you a little bit more about my Rent the Runway experience, and you can see a picture of the dress that I rented, and it also has a 40% off code for you. So like I said, not sponsored. This is my recommendation. I am giving you a code, a coupon, and also giving you the knowledge of Rent the Runway and telling you from firsthand experience how much it has improved and saved some seasons of my life. So they have bags, they have earrings, they have fancy dresses, they have casual things like sweatshirts and exercise outfits if you want to switch it up in that department of your life. If you're looking for something to wear, rent it from Rent the Runway. You don't have to store it. You don't have to worry about repetitive outfits for all your holiday pictures. Just pick something out that you like. They give you an option to like order multiple sizes. Like let's say in this example of the ball gown, I wasn't sure. It was my first time renting and I wasn't sure if I should get, a size 6 or a size 8. So they let me rent both of them at one price. You get a backup. You get a backup dress. So you can do that and you can rent them without even becoming a member, or you can do what I do and get 4 to 8 shipments a month of cute outfits, cute accessories. They even have, I think this is pretty recent, but they even have like home goods. So if you want to change out the covers of your throw pillows to be a little bit more festive for the holiday season, you can do that. I highly recommend Rent the Runway. It is going to save you so much stress of picking out what to wear. Go to toriblackmon.com, and if you go to my blog posts, so you'll see blogs up at the top of that page, there is going to be a blog post that I did earlier this year about Rent the Runway. I'll link it in the show notes below so that you can get that 40% off coupon and save yourself hours of stress and anxiety about what to wear this holiday season. I really recommend it, and I hope it works out for you just as much as it worked out for me. Side note, you might get addicted to it, so be careful. They've got a lot of cute things on that site. So in the last few episodes, I've been trying to kind of change the format of the podcast a little bit and share more about what I am doing and my perspective of life in this season. So I'm going to continue with that. I forgot to put my laptop on silent. I am so sorry about that notification that came through. But I'm going to continue with that, and I hope that it just gives you a little bit of insight from a friend, on some things that they're into or some hobbies and interests that are in my life right now, because who doesn't like hearing recommendations and sharing pointers and things like that. So I want to lean more in that direction. I have been missing the meditations though, and I do plan to bring them back eventually. Maybe I will do them in the episode, or I might make them their own separate podcast episode. I'm kind of leaning towards that. If that's something that you want me to bring back or that you'd be interested in, please shoot me a message over on Instagram. My personal handle is at onceupona_Tori. So that's Tori. I would love to hear your thoughts about meditating and if that's something that works for you, if you missed that being on the episode, and if you have any other topics that you want me to discuss, let me know. I'm dying to hear from you, and I definitely encourage you to be just as much a part of this show as I am. So you are always welcome here. Now, this past season, I guess you can say, was Thanksgiving. Dylan, my husband, and I went up to Huntsville to visit his family, and his mom has a farm, which is so precious. I love their land. Their property is the property that we had our wedding at. It was the venue. So it's just this big, spacious property on the outskirts of a really, really awesome city, Huntsville, Alabama. There's like the Space and Rocket Center's there, along with a lot of other cool things. So it's just an artistic and technologically savvy city that is such a trendy place to visit. There's just this Alabama, space that you have, the green hills and the mountains that we don't get on the Gulf Coast where I live. So we love visiting her farm in Huntsville. And while we're there, we also never have internet. They have mountains surrounding their property, so it blocks out some of their internet. It's like you do get it. It's just really slow. And so one of the things that I wrote down earlier in the season is the feelings that I got when I got home. I didn't realize it while I was there because I was engaging with my family. We were playing things like horseshoes, where we went out in the field and threw horseshoes and tried to ring them around the horseshoe. Or we were playing games like dominoes just to pass the time and engage with our family and each other. But it was Thanksgiving, so we were eating and stuff. So I really didn't notice it while I was there. But once I got home, I felt a certain way. And I wrote those feelings down, and I wanted to share them with you on the podcast. I wrote, not having internet makes you stay in the moment. It really makes you think about what you spend your internet time looking up. I wouldn't say it's better. I definitely miss the internet. But it's nice to realize that there's so many things that you don't find immediate answers to. So when you have to be super intentional about what you're looking up, you have to be strong-willed on what to search for. There was a lot of checking in with myself. I took inventory. I had to listen to my heart. And I recommend you do the same. Check in with yourself. Take inventory. Listen to your heart. Do things for love. Because answers will always come. Some take longer than others. The money will come. The things that you love will come. But you got to listen to your heart. So check in with yourself. Take an inventory on what you're searching for. And the answers will find you. Hopefully you got the gist of what I was saying, that I couldn't immediately Google like, oh, what's going on with this celebrity? Or, oh, what are my friends doing? Who's around? That kind of thing. Like I didn't have the opportunity to do that because we were spending a lot of our time while we were up there on the land. There wasn't a lot of internet. It took 5 minutes for me to search what I wanted because it just kept loading and loading and loading. Not a lot going in, not a lot going out. So I had to be super intentional. And I guess last year or so, every time we visited, maybe I noticed it, but I didn't feel, so strongly about it that I wrote my feelings down. But it definitely was something I wanted to share here. I got this wave of emotion and I was like, ooh, I know what I'm feeling. I can write it down because I'm an adult and I can use words. Yay. And I can share it with my audience on Contagious Victories. They're going to love this. So hopefully you get what I'm putting down. And think about that the next time you go and search for something. Is it something that you feel really strong-willed about? Are you willing to wait 5 minutes to get an answer? Or is it something that you're just Googling because you don't feel like thinking? On a more serious note, there's been some things going on a country level. Things like politics, things like, true crime. Life went on, but it wasn't going on in the moment, and therefore I wasn't even aware of them. I had no idea. since then, I'm like hanging on every word of the newscaster because I'm dying to know what happened, who did it, why. I want answers. And I didn't have that same feeling when I was there. And it was such a contrast when I got back that I noticed it. I took note of it, I wrote it down, and I wanted to share it with you. So take what you will from this little lesson that I learned, a little personal lesson, but hopefully you get the gist of what I'm saying, and it'll make you think the next time that you go to look up something on the internet or Google an answer that you really could do without knowing. So I did take a couple more notes throughout the last few weeks just to like solidify my thoughts and figure out what I wanted to share with you. So I've been trying to do like certain little categories such as happiness, spirituality, relationship, career, health, home, all types of things. And then just like fun, entertainment recommends and things that I'm into, those type things. But I just want to give you more of a sense of what the time in between each episode is like. So in the happiness department, I wrote stand up for yourself. So I don't know really what that means. I have no story around that one, but just, I guess, stand up for yourself. So in the relationship department, I wrote working together is hard, but it's fine. Maybe that went with the previous one. I'm not sure. I really don't remember when I wrote these down, but I've been trying to keep them in my little notes app on my phone until the next episode. So then I can like share it and then I'll erase it and start over. That's going to be the new format in case you wanted a little preview. That's where this is going. Okay. But then in spirituality, I wrote new church. It's been going good. I love my new church. So if you weren't aware, my church originally, like the one that I was going to over the last couple of years, the pastor who married Dylan and I, it very heartbrokenly dissolved. It didn't work out. But we started attending a new church, and this one has actually come together very recently. It is called Salt Church, and it's in Foley, and I'm so, so blessed to have it. It's been so nice. In the social department, I wrote be a confident follow. So that was the previous episode that I did here on Contagious Victories, all about social media and just like how to be a more confident person on the internet so that people feel really good about following you. So that's what I wrote in that department. I've been doing a new social media called AMP. That's another thing in the social media department. AMP is kind of like a radio show. It's not a podcast because it's live and there's music, but it's more like a radio show. It doesn't have to compete or take away from radio. It's just a little bit more geared towards music and sharing, different playlists that you like and why you like them. And it's a lot of fun. And I have been trying to go live over there on the weekends, on Fridays and Saturdays. Sometimes Dylan hops on the show with me. We've done a couple little ukulele riffs over there, or like songs where I'll play in between actual music. So I've been sharing a little bit of that over on the AMP app. You can follow me, just search Victoria Glass or Once Upon a Tori, and it will be linked in the show notes. So check that out and follow me on AMP if you have an AMP, or if that sounds like something that you'd be into. Moving on, what's something that I've been really into over the last few weeks? Well, I will tell you, it is Bob's Burgers. Bob's Burgers is back. Some of the best episodes that I have seen from the Bob's Burgers writers in a while. It has been really, really good. Like the Christmas episode of Bob's Burgers that came out earlier this week. Oh my goodness, it was so good. It was so heartfelt. I looked over and don't tell him that I told you, but Dylan was tearing up. And I also teared up. But, that's just how good of a show it is. And the show is good in general, but no. The whole season this season is really, really good. I love the episode earlier in the season that was titled Comedy of Errors, and it was just such a sweet episode. They went and looked for a comment. I loved how the glow sticks were drawn and animated in the show. They even had this like glowing feature through the animation. It was really cool. And even the cell phones and the comment glowed, if I remember correctly. But like the cell phone screens, it lit up on their faces. And just in general, this season of Bob's Burgers has been top notch. The animation, the writing, it has been so good this season. And I'm really, really happy about that. Like literally superb is what I wrote in my notes. So yeah. What's not superb? Not getting a T-Swift ticket, but we're not going to talk about that. We're just going to glaze over it. Glaze over that one. health-wise, I've been trying to spend more time with family. We loved visiting with Dylan's family over Thanksgiving. I love Tisa. She is such a sweet host. She is such a great mother-in-law. I am so blessed to have her. And in the health department, just spending time with his family and getting to know my new in-laws better has been so healthy for me on an emotional level. I've really enjoyed that. In the home department, I've been decorating, making it all Christmassy. We're halfway through December, like I mentioned earlier, and it's just been going really great. We've had some special times and some comfy moments. That's what the season's about. So I've enjoyed that. And I guess that's about it. That's a lot. I just kind of spilled out a lot. But that's what I've been hoping to do more of on the show. And I'm really, really fortunate to be able to take the time and just spill all of what life has been like over the last couple of weeks with you. So yeah, I will get to wrapping things up, but I did want to bring it full circle. And we started the episode off with talking about how stressful things can be around this time of year. It's the last 2 weeks of 2022. We've got new goals that we might be excited to start in 2023, but at the same time, we want to finish this year strong. We don't want to rush through it. We want to take the time to really be present in the moment, to, spend our time with friends and family and appreciate one another this holiday season, give it back to God, be grateful, that's what the season's about. So in order to do that, there's some things that we can do that makes it a little less stressful. One of those things is just by being grateful. And one way to be more grateful is to tell the people that make your life easier that you appreciate them. And you can do that by waving at the post office person, or telling the mailman thank you for picking up my mail, or leaving a cooler of water out on your front porch for the FedEx and UPS and Amazon delivery guys. That's something simple that just shows your community members how much that you care about them and that you appreciate them. And that's what this time of year is about. Also, go to Rent the Runway and order a dress for Christmas that you can just ship back, and then bam, holiday dress shopping is over. That's quick and simple. What else did we talk about? We talked about the book that my friend Jared wrote called How Zoe Made Friends. And that is a wonderful book and resource that helps kids learn about the anti-bullying movement and also supports a local writer. It's a great, great gift for a loved one this holiday season. And it's a victory story that Jared is getting the recognition he deserves for doing awesome things here on the Gulf Coast. What else did we talk about? We talked about Bob's Burgers. We talked about all kinds of things. I mean, you were here. It was a great episode, right? Mainly, happy holidays. I love you. You're not alone. Reach out to me and tell me some of the things that you are loving this season or recommending to others this season. I want to hear it. And if you've got a victory story, then you better tell me about it, because the world deserves to appreciate the good that you're doing in it. So let me know and I can talk about it here on the show. Or if you've just heard a fun story like the viral trend of leaving a cooler out for your delivery drivers, let me know about that too so I can share it here on Contagious Victories. That's what this is all about. Being an emotional support podcast, a spigot for good, so that you can feel confident doing the creative mission that you were sent here to do. Thank you so much for listening, and I will catch you next time, friends. This has been Victoria Blackmon on the Contagious Victories podcast. Over and out. Thanks for joining us for this week's episode of the Contagious Victories podcast. If the show inspired you to share your own victory story, I'm here to tell you the world deserves to hear it. Submit it to me online at toriblackmon.com. Review and subscribe if that feels right. Telling a friend about the show helps Contagious Victories to grow. Plus, we all appreciate a little sunshine. I'm Tori B. Thanks for listening. I'll catch you soon.